I'm an alligator. I'm a mama papa coming for you. I'm a space invader.
If I didn't already have this glorious afro, Ava Cherry would be here telling stories that would curl my hair. She's been around the world and back since growing up here in Woodlawn, and as a close friend and collaborator with late greats David Bowie and Luther Vandross, and her own solo work on albums like Ripe and Spend the Night.
That's right.
This year she's putting the finishing touches. Picture me. Ooh, yes, girl. This year she's putting the finishing touches on a new album with her band Full Circle, and they all join me here in the studio today. Welcome to Vocalo, Ava Cherry, Ryan, John, Jesse, and Justin. Hello.
Hello. What's up, Joe? Happy to be here.
I'm so happy to have you all here today. I've been looking forward to this interview for weeks, so let's get started with it. I want to start with you, Ava. Obviously, your life is fascinating.
Thank you.
I've been a fan of yours for a long time, Miss. My mom's favorite singer in the world is Luther Vandross.
Is
yes.
he? Oh,
my goodness. So I'd see your name on the liner notes, and then I went back and discovered all of your stuff, and I've been in love ever since. Can we start from the beginning in Woodlawn?
Absolutely.
Tell me a little bit about growing up there and how that shaped you and the art that you make.
Well, how it shaped me was, when I was a kid, we used to go down to the Regal Theater every Sunday and see every single great artist that was out there, from Michael Jackson, James Brown, everyone, Gladys Knight, Aretha, everyone performed, Jackie Wilson, Marvin Gaye, everybody performed at the Regal. Yeah. So what would happen is every Sunday, like clockwork, after church, in the Woodlawn area, you would see kids walking down the street, walking down King Drive, getting ready to go to the Regal, right?
Church clothes.
Church clothes and all. They would just be ready to hear the most incredible music that they ever heard. And it was wonderful. And I would always get there early so I could get a good seat, and I would just couldn't wait for whoever was going to come on. And we saw, just like I named to you, we saw every great R&B artist that you can possibly imagine there, and all the icons that everybody copied, like I said, James Brown, Michael Jackson, when he was like 5 years old and all that other stuff. And that shaped me. I said to myself, I looked up there on that stage and I was like, man, I want to be that. I want to be up there doing that. I got to do it. And that was really my motivation. I'm telling you, it was like, when they stopped doing that at the Regal, we cried. We were so unhappy. We were like, what? You're taking away our music and our inspiration to do it. Inner city kids, need that, and we had it. Yeah. Right now they don't have it like that anymore. They don't have things for inner city kids and stuff, and it really isn't necessary in Chicago. So
you decided then and there that you wanted to become a star. You wanted to be a singer. And so part of the origin story of your career that always sticks out to me is I was hanging out with Stevie Wonder, and then I met David Bowie.
Right. How was I hanging out with Stevie Wonder?
And how can that be my life as well?
Okay, right, exactly, and just keep on keeping on with it. Well, what happened was I had gone to L.A. a couple of times, and my girlfriend of mine named Coco, she was dating Stevie at the time, and she and I were very close, and she was like, I'm going to introduce you to Stevie. And I'm like, what? Stevie Wonder? I'm going to be Stevie Wonder? So anyway, next thing I knew, I was in the studio, I was not on any of those songs, but I was there for everything. And he started to like me. He would know I was there. He'd be, oh, Ava. And, we had our little funny jokes and everything. And we became very close, very good friends. And actually, before I started working with David Bowie, I told him about it. I said, listen, I'm going to go to Europe and I'm going to work with this guy, David Bowie. Do you think I should? He goes, no, you got to go. You got to do it. You got to follow your dreams. You got to do what your muse is. So I took that advice. And because I first met David in New York, but then he was invited to a party after Stevie did Carnegie Hall. He was invited to the big party that was after his concert.
Sure.
And that's where we really met.
And this is like Ziggy Stardust.
Oh, yeah, he was Ziggy then. I mean, he walked into the place. My manager came over to me and said, you know that guy, David Bowie, I was telling you about? He's over there. I'm going to bring him over here. I'm like, oh, my God, you're going to bring him over here? I was because I had listened to Ziggy Stardust, and it was an incredible record.
Sure.
And I was like, wow, this guy's really unique and different. He comes over. His hair is, on the cover of Ziggy Stardust, his hair was green. But when he walked over to me, his hair was red, bright red. Yeah. And I had blonde hair. So he walks over to me and he says, Ava Cherry, this is David Bowie. Very nice to meet you in this wonderful, sexy voice in British and all that. And so I was like, boom, 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 boom. I was like, wow, it's real. And then he looks at me and he goes, I love your hair. I love that image.
Oh my gosh! Usually, when white guys walk up to you and tell you that you love their hair, that they love your hair, it's all downhill from there.
I've never experienced that. But all I know is that he was a freak, and I looked like a freak like him. And he was like, "Okay, this girl is just right up my alley, right?" He was like, "Cause you see this," and I'm like, "Yeah, I see your hair." So he was like, "It's
And Stevie
perfect."
Wonder was like, "I don't know what you guys talking about."
Yeah, Stevie. We were all down there jamming in the club, and it was like everybody, like I said, Peebo, Marvin, Aretha, everybody was down there jamming and singing, and so I was standing there with them too. And so he says to me, "So are you a singer?" And I said, "Yes."
Yeah, like what
but
else?
Of course, right. What else would I say? I mean, listen, honey, there's never been anything that if I think I can do it, I'm not gonna say yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I was singing, but I wasn't professional. But I saw an opportunity there, and I said, "Okay, yes, I'm whatever you want me to be, my brother."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So anyway, he said, "Okay, well, can we meet for dinner tomorrow? As I want to introduce you to my manager, and if I'd like you to go on a tour with me in Japan." I was like, "Me? You want me to go?" He goes, "Yeah, you." So I'll see you tomorrow. So that was what happened. So I mean, the rest, that was it.
Yeah, but that tour didn't end up
No,
materializing.
that's it. What happened was, they got me all ready. They sent me all the material to learn and everything. And then I quit my job in New York. I got rid of my apartment, and I came here to say goodbye to my parents.
Yeah.
And I was here for like 3 days, and the doorbell rings, and it was a telegram. And it said, "Dear Ava, so sorry, we've had to cancel the tour. David's sick with the flu, and we'll reach out for you again some other time." So I'm standing there going, "What? Oh my God, I quit my job. Oh my God, this is not going to happen to me. I can't stand this." I was like freaking out in my head. I was like, I got to do something. And so what had happened was this guy that I'd met in New York, that lived in Europe, that lived in Monte Carlo, had asked me to come there for the summer, and I told him no because he was really way too old for me, and I really wasn't into him, right? But then when that happened, I said, no, I got to find this guy, David Bowie. He's not going to do this to me. That was really I was like,
He gonna learn
after all
today.
this preparation, he's going to be talking to me, telling me something, right? So I call up this guy and I go, he goes, "Oh, Ava." I said, "Yeah, is that offer still open to go to Monaco?" He goes, yeah, it is. I said, "Okay, we'll send the ticket here." Blah, boom. He sent me the ticket. I'm in the air. I end up in Monaco. We're flying in. I'm going, oh my God, I never saw anything like this before in my life. I'd never been to Europe.
Sure.
It was the most incredible landscape you ever saw. Have you seen pictures of Monaco?
Sure,
People
yeah.
pull it up, Google what Monaco
Yeah.
looks like. It's absolutely beautiful. And it was like incredible. And I was like, oh my God. But then I still got to be with this guy, right? I mean, you don't even know what it's like for a woman. And these are guys sitting here when you really don't want to be with somebody, but they maybe can help you. So anyway, honey, I'm just being honest to everybody. I mean, I was never a gold digger, but this particular instance to get to David, I was going to do anything except kill
Right.
someone. I think. So anyway, I land, and then, he had this beautiful place, and oh my God! I mean, I got to meet Omar Sharif, which was my idol from Dr. Zhivago and Lawrence of Arabia, and got to meet him and play bridge in the casino there,
Sure.
and just had a wonderful time. But all that time, I was still thinking David Bowie. No matter how, every time he touched me, I was thinking David Bowie. It was not him. Believe me, it was not him. And so I think he really got it, and he had like, well, actually, truthfully, I'm going to be honest because I didn't know. He had another girlfriend, and she was there. She was like his permanent girlfriend, and he dated other women, and she dealt with it. Okay.
Oh, the 70s.
I know. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm really not. I don't date married men, but I didn't know, and I didn't know blah blah blah. But anyway, she said to me, "Well," I said, "Look, I can't stand this guy that you." She goes, "Well, I've got an apartment my grandmother gave me because she was the one that was very rich, and I guess he was hanging out with her because she was really rich too." And so she said, "You can stay in my apartment if you want to." So she let me stay there, and so I stayed there. I was so happy, right?
Yeah.
And then one day there was a knock on the door. He came to visit me, and I had some other guy there. And he freaked out. He goes, okay, you have to go now.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm ready. I said, but you got to give me some money. And so I said, so just give me, 1,000 francs and I'm gone, right?
Yeah.
So he gave me that. I said, tell me where to go. He goes, go to Paris. If you're going to Paris, you go to the Boulevard Saint-Germain, and that's where everything is going on, all the celebrities there, blah, 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 blah. And so I was a model, and I had my portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, okay, I'll try to model while I'm looking for David Bowie, right? I get there, and I'm sitting in the Café de Flore, which is a very famous cafe. You see all these beautiful French women walking by, just so beautifully dressed and beautiful. And so I go, I didn't speak fluent French, I spoke a little.
Mm-hmm.
I yell out, does anybody here speak English? And so this guy walks over to me with his really curly hair. He was from Morocco. He was half black, half Moroccan. He said, I speak English. And he says, my name is Jocelyn. And I said, hi, Jocelyn. He goes, what are you doing here? I said, well, I'm just here from America. I've got my portfolio, and I'm going to do some modeling, and I'm looking for this guy named David Bowie. So he goes, well, where are you staying? And so I had checked into this little hotel, inexpensive hotel, and he says, well, okay, but listen, you can stay in my house. I'm like, I can stay at your house? He goes, yes. Let's check you out of the hotel. Go stay in my house. And so I said, okay. So he says, and I'll help you to get an agency for your modeling. So he did. I stayed with this guy.
You know that this sounds crazy.
I know
right?
it sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy, but this was like the weirdest thing. It sounds crazy, but also he was a gay man, and he was one of the sweetest people that I ever met. But he wasn't after me like that, and I knew it.
Yeah.
And he just let me stay in his house. I didn't have to deal with him on that level and nothing. He just liked me, and he was very. But things like that were always happening to me. God was always bringing me really wonderful people in my life that would help me. I don't know why he decided to help me, but he did.
Yeah.
And I stayed with him, and he fed me, and he got me an agency, and I worked in Spain and England and everywhere. And so it took me 8 months to find him for the first time. I'm running around Paris, doing stuff, having a good time, and blah blah blah. And I was acclimated with the modeling and all that. And one day I'm in this bar, and I'm sitting at the bar, and I hear some French, and I hear David Bowie. And I look down, and I go running down to the bar, and I go, did you dis David Bowie? He said, oui, il est là-bas, which means he's over there.
Yeah.
I said, là-bas où, which is where? And he said, Chez Castel, which is the most exclusive club in Paris. Mm-hmm. You had to be very rich to get in to be a member or whatever. And I'm like, he's over there for real? And in French, I'm saying this to him. He goes, oui, I saw him go. So I go running over there. I'm not dressed for this club. Honey, I just go running over there, and I'm like, okay, so when he sees me, he'll be glad.
Yeah.
So you have to go down some stairs, and he had a guy that was working with him, his personal assistant, who was black, named Stewie. And so I look down the stairs, and I see David sitting over there with Stewie and this woman. And so Stewie sees me, because, my hair's still white.
Yeah.
And, he comes working, he goes, Ava. He goes, oh, my God, what are you doing here? He goes, the governor's going to be really, oh, my God. He's going to freak out when he sees you, right? And I'm like, he goes, come on. So he takes me by the hand, and he goes to me. And as I walked up to David, David's talking, and he goes, Ava, what are you doing here? And I'm like, I've been looking for you for 8 months. 8 months. You just left me with this telegram, and, we had something.
Yeah.
Well, how could you do it? He goes, I'm really sorry. He says, I got ill. I really got sick. And they did what they were supposed to do, which is tell you that. And he said, but my gosh, I didn't realize it was that important to you. And I was like, well, it was. I said, our meeting was important. It was meant to happen. And so he goes, well, it's going to happen now. And then he's sitting there with this woman, and he goes, let's go. And we just get up with all these people he's with, and we go. And that was the beginning of my love affair and my relationship with David Bowie.
And it was quite the intense relationship, from what I understand.
Oh, my goodness, it was. It was because of so many things. I mean, because of the fact that David, he obviously loved chocolate.
Hello, doesn't everybody?
Right. But yeah, I mean, from then on, we went to this 17th century recording studio in the south of, in the suburb of France. That was so beautiful. I mean, it was a 17th century castle that they made into a studio. And that's where we started recording things. And then we just were intensely in love in this place. I mean, it was really, I was like, well, I was gone. I was smitten. And it was just wonderful. And so, but then something else happened. We worked and did all this work there. And his management was there. And he said, okay, I've got to go back to England. And I'll send for you to come to London in 2 weeks or something. So I go, okay. I go back to Paris. He leaves Paris, and 2 weeks go by, and then a month goes by, and then 2 months go by.
David
and I'm like,
Bowie
oh my
just
God.
ghosting out left and right.
Child, he really put me through. I mean, my nerves were just on edge about him, because I think, everything that he wanted to do, he was going to do, but he just had other people around him doing things and telling him to do it this way. So after 2 months, I saw Mick Ronson in Paris, and I said, Mick, where's David? He was supposed to have sent for me. And he goes, oh, Ava, don't worry. He mentioned it to me. He says, but he's just been real crazy and blah, blah, blah. And he was still sick. He had the worst flu. And he says, I'll tell him to call you. So I said, okay. So the next thing I gave Mick my number, and the next thing I know, Mick, he says, he's going to call you at your agency next Wednesday at 5 o'clock. So I'm at my agency. Now, my agency had a problem with me. They said I owed them money, so they wouldn't give me my passport back, and they wouldn't give me my book or anything. So they said, and I said, well, that's okay, because I'm getting ready to work with David Bowie. And they go, yeah, right, you're going to work with David Bowie. Ha, ha, ha. We got your book. We got your passport. You're not going anywhere. And so I'm like, okay. So I'm sitting there I'm like, oh, God, please call. The phone rings, 5 o'clock. And then they say, hello, London? David Bowie? Oh, okay. Ava Cherry? Boom. It's for you. It's Ava, I've got your passport. You just go to the airport, blah, blah, blah. I'll see you in London. That was it. I got to London. And then that was when we really started doing everything, and it was all gelled together.
So the streak of working with talented men continues here with Full Circle.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now I'm curious as how this whole thing happened, because me and Jesse go back like car seats.
Get out of
We
here.
have known
We go
each
way
other
back.
for
Okay, well,
years.
I gotta tell you, it started with this man right here, John. John and I knew each other because they were like a couple of years ago. He was a jingles producer, and I had tried to submit something to do some jingles with him. And so we just kept, our emails and everything like that. And then we hadn't talked really that much, but when David died, he reached out to me and said, Ava, listen, maybe you want to put together a band, to do something for David. And I said, yeah, that'd be a good idea. But somehow or another, he knew the Sons of
The Sons of the Silent Age, yeah.
Sons of the Silent Age. And he spoke with them, and they were saying that they were doing a tribute thing to David anyway, but then since he died, they're really going to do something more. So John graciously gave up him trying to put together this band initially and said, Ava, you might want to work with them because they're already a Bowie tribute band and they know all the material. Yeah. Which
I
really
was trying to put together a band just to do a date for a tribute thing.
Sure.
And then I'm like, oh, you guys are already doing it. Matt Walker, he plays with Morrissey, he's the drummer. And so I found out they were doing it, and then I talked to Matt, and he was like, actually, we were trying to get a hold of Ava. And I was like, you know what, so I just kind of helped facilitate, put that together.
He put us together where I did decide I wanted to work with them. And then the fact that they were a tribute band was really great, too, because really the rehearsal was easy, that if I knew the material.
So you played with Sons of the Silent Age. John's getting this group of guys together to write, to
right,
perform.
we're going to be
That
writing
was actually
material.
the first night I've actually heard her perform. We had been talking, And that night was great. The whole night was great.
Yeah.
But when she got on stage, to me, I felt it like it went up.
Oh yeah, it
and
was
the whole,
completely
it
elevated.
blasted off the roof, and
I
so
paid
after
him a
that,
lot of money to say that.
So then,
You're gonna get some furs later.
And that's why John's wearing a fur vest.
So then after that, we went in the studio with Matt. So it was Matt and then me and Ava, and we to do one song in the studio, and then basically just put a band together around Ava and really have a band to showcase her talent.
And how nice is it to play with a group of guys who, and I don't know if people can tell through this video, but fresh-faced young men, just babies, just tiny
fresh,
babies.
babe.
But isn't it nice to know that guys that were born in the 70s and 80s still are just down with this music that you've been making this whole time? It's got to be a great experience.
I'll let them answer for themselves, but let me say this to preface it. I think that good music is good music. And I think that I've run into so many kids in their 20s and in early 30s who, they're not kids in their 30s, but I'm just saying that really appreciate music from way back, from old school to whatever. I mean, as a matter of fact, I've met a lot of youngsters who really know old school as well as I do.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think music is music. If you like it, you do. I think that when I play with them, I feel very secure in that they got my back, and that I've only felt like that about all the bands that I played with because they've been very professional. But these guys are super professional, and I feel and they get it, baby. They just get that thump, you know what I'm saying? That thump and that bump. So all I can say is, let's start with Justin, and Justin can say some of the things that he's done, and we'll come on
Yeah,
down the line.
please do.
Well, I grew up in Baltimore, so I grew up around.
Welcome.
Yeah, I moved here like a year ago, so I grew up playing playing rock, so a lot of Bowie stuff, a lot of Led Zeppelin, a lot of different types of things. But I got really lucky and got connected with some of the P-Funk crew. My buddy Benzel, shout out to Benzel. He plays, he's one of the drummers for George Clinton currently.
Right on. Oh, that's a great gig.
Yeah, and his dad's been in the band for over 30 years, so I got really lucky to hook up with him and some of the big R&B touring session guys, and some of the big jazz guys. I mean, that's really where my influence came from. My kind of rock R&B, soul, that whole realm came from Baltimore. So I got really lucky, and then I came to this scene, and it's just phenomenal.
Oh yeah, Chicago's always kept it real. Jesse Kreiderman.
Yes.
Jesse and I
true.
used to play together in a
right.
live
You're a
band.
musician, girl.
Well, not like Jesse.
Well, so we used to do. I would say I probably did about 4 years, maybe.
Yeah.
I was involved for about 4 years in Chicago live band karaoke. Wow. So we actually played a lot of this. We did a lot of Bowie stuff. We actually. It's a really interesting thing because you had to be ready for to save any possible train wreck because you have a live band and then you have drunk people.
Yes, right.
So it's the worst lead singer ever problem, and you have to be really awesome at grabbing people. So we got really close as a band. Jill was one of our hosts, and that was a great experience. I think I made a lot of my friends here in Chicago through that.
And John, you were jingling?
Yeah, so I had a band in college, and then I started working at a studio at an ad agency, producing music for commercials and writing, which was really cool. And I did that for about 5 years. But then I was sort of feeling like I wasn't playing live, and I wanted to be doing more of that. So I started going to there's a lot of great jams around in Chicago on weeknights. A lot of the musicians go. That's where I met. Justin.
Forget my name.
Underground Wonder
We're
Bar.
a really tight band. So Underground Wonder Bar actually is an amazing place that's been here for 27 years.
Yeah.
They're actually doing their 27th anniversary in November. They're having 27 artists play for 27 days or something.
Wow.
Shout out to Lonnie. And she's actually created an institution for live music in Chicago. It's a great place. So the jam on Monday nights is where a lot of the young players go, and that's where I met Justin. And Jesse probably through that scene.
I was
because
playing
he was
every
playing
Saturday
there a lot.
night there.
Yeah, and I was actually managing the booking there for a little while. And so that's where I met some of these guys. And I basically picked off Justin. I was like, okay, so now So by the time Ava asked me to put together a band, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna call my favorite guys. And
No, he was right on it. He was right on it. The timing was right.
I've been hoping. I hadn't actually played with Jesse, but I've been hoping to do something. So he was a go-to, and then the newest addition.
Yes,
Ryan.
Ryan.
How did you get involved in this whole new family?
Well, I'm trying to think about how far back I want to go here. I moved to Chicago about 3 years ago, and I've been playing with a variety of people just that I had met. Going as far as like Craigslist or just networking at bars. And at one point, I ended up getting a gig in theater, at a sort of a gospel theater company. Man, like the music was incredible, and Jesse was on the gig too, and we got to be good friends doing that. And so I got this weird combination of he sends messages from Facebook and text.
Yeah, he's got 3 phones.
All these phone numbers, and so I'm getting all these bits of information from all these different sources from Jesse. It's just hey man. So basically what's going on is I'm playing with Ava Cherry, and here's who she is, and here's what we're doing, and why don't you come play with us? And I said,
because we're a 3-piece, drums, bass, guitar.
Right.
Yeah.
So he plays keyboards,
Ryan plays everything,
and horns,
actually,
and guitar, and so he can fill in all
So
this
he's filling
space.
in
Oh,
those guitar.
nice.
It's just we're kind of guitar heavy right now too. That just extra guitar just sounds so beautiful.
I'm so excited to follow what you guys have going on. Thank you guys all so much for making time for me
Absolutely.
today.
Of course.
Awesome.
Listen, we love Chicago. I mean, I was born and raised here, and I guess not everybody was born and raised here, but but we're here now, and we definitely want, to give props to the people that are creative and do things and come out of this market. Chicago's been sort of swept to the side for a number of years, but I started out working with Curtis Mayfield too, and with Curtom in the very beginning. So there's just so much great history here and so much great music. And so just want to say to our fans, and we hope that you guys will be our new fans, it's Ava Cherry, and we are called Full Circle, and we will be seeing you in this next year. We'll be out there. Please to support us if you can, and we love you, and we'll be giving you the music you want to hear, okay? We'll be rocking and rolling with you, okay?
Hey. Let's end it right there. That's a positive message.
I saw you there around the way. I knew you from so long